Okay, our Mishnah is going to talk about, we're on Shabbat, Perek Kaf, Mishnah Bet, chapter 20, Mishnah 2. Our Mishnah is going to talk about different kinds of filtering and creating different kinds of foods, interestingly, on Shabbat. Says the Mishnah, Notnim mayim al gabe shmarim, bishvil sheyitzalu. Tzalu from the word salil, clear. So the Mishnah says you can pour water on shmarim. Shmarim we learned is wine sediment. This is shmarim. So let's say I have shmarim, and so there's two possible understandings, two possible interpretations. The Bartanura says the following: if I have shmarim that are nitunim b'mishameret b'ba'od yom, I've got, remember from the last Mishnah, I've got my mishameret and I've got the sediment. All right, the bottle represents the sediment. Okay, the Bartanura says that I have to make it in such a way. I think the Kati says, the Bartanura says that we'll see in a second. Anyway, so I have this shmarim, okay, and so I want to pour water over this shmarim, and what's going to happen is the water will then go into my bottle, and the water will become like juice, like grape juice. I'll get the flavor of the shmarim. That's what he says. Okay, I'm going to pour water agabe shmarim anutunim b'mishameret b'yom tov kedei sheyitzalu. What does that mean? Yitzalu shiyu shmarim tzlulim. So that the shmarim, the sediment will become tzalul, clear, v'yazov kol yenam, and all the water and all the wine in the shmarim will ooze out into my bottle, and I'll get the flavor. Pirush acher, or another explanation, al gabei shmarim shenisharu b'chavit. If I've got a chavit, a jug, or a barrel of wine, so I pour out the wine, at the bottom there was always sediment. The wine that we have is incredibly filtered. But normal wine has sediment in it. So the bottom of the wine, I don't want to waste the sediment. V'koltim hamayim ta'am yain, so the Mishnah says, I can pour water into the shmarim at the bottom, so that I can get the flavor of the sediment into the water. Next, umesananim et hayayin besudarim ubekfiyah mitzrit, and I can filter wine besudarim. This is very similar. Sudarim, I take my sudar and I place it over the jug, and I want to pour the wine through the filter. Or kfiyah mitzrit is like a sort of an Egyptian basket. They would use the basket in order to serve as a kind of filter. Why am I doing that? Okay. So the Bartanura only explains, Hu shelo ya'aseh biyado b'sudar kamin guma. He says the sudar that I make shouldn't have a guma. It should not have a hole, an indentation in it, but rather the sudar should be straight out. You should hold it straight, because that's not there. That's normally the way they would do the filter. Now, the reason I'm allowed to do that, and it's not borer, is because the Kahati explains, is because we're talking about wine that's drinkable as it is. And since it's drinkable as it is, when I filter out certain impurities, I'm making it more drinkable, but that's not a problem of filtering. And that's why the reason why people are allowed to use their brita on Shabbat. Because you pour the water in, it was certainly drinkable before. Most people, I don't know if they could taste the difference, they could tell the taste the difference, but we're making it from drinkable to tasting better. That's not considered filtering with a kli on Shabbat. Similarly, if you have a misanedet, which is a kind of sieve or a sifter of mustard seed, they used to put a beitzah, an egg in it. Okay, why would they put an egg in it? They used to put nanuba chardal lehistanen in order to make it. They put mustard. They put the egg in the mustard in order to filter it, to make it clean. They put a beat egg with varim ha'achurim in unclear things and dirty things. Hem mitlabnim. They would become white. Umizdakakim. They would become purified. I guess that was a tried way to clean out the mustard seed. I have no idea. V'osin ein mulin ein numlin b'Shabbat. You're allowed to make ein mulin on Shabbat. It's some kind of wine mixture. Yayin, wine, udvash, and honey, upirpulin, pepper. So some kind of mixed drink of wine, honey, and pepper you're allowed to make on Shabbat. Rabbi Yehuda, so how much? The Tanakama says it doesn't seem to matter. Rabbi Yehuda says v'Shabbat b'kos. In Shabbat you're allowed to make it by the cup, because it's a big tircha. Yom Tov, on Yom Tov, bilagin, by the jug. B'moed, and on Chol Moed, b'chavit, you can make the barrel full. So it depends. On Shabbat, a small amount. On Yom Tov, you can make more, and on Chol Moed, you can make a ton. Rabbi Tzadok Omer, Rabbi Tzadok says, no, hakol b'fi archim. Depends how much you need. If you've got a lot of guests, then you're allowed to make the yen mulin, the ein mulin. Some call it yen mulin, for as many guests as you have. It all depends on what your needs are on Shabbat. I'll stop here. As always, comments or questions, email me. We'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha Ben Yitzchak Kalma. Have a good day.